Good afternoon. You are on KTN Kenya.tv. I'm Sophia Wanuna and this is your news update. Now, the much anticipated LAPSSET project will stall even longer as the National Land Commission has now withheld 400 million shillings allocated for the compensation of landowners. The commission says that bank details and national identification serial numbers of the landowners are unclear, thereby causing confusion in the compensation process. The first batch of 157 landowners in the area designated for the Lamu port, a component of the LAPSSET project, has been identified for compensation, but the process has delayed since last year. Residents and leaders in Lamu have complained about the long delays in the release of these funds. So Zuri's Commission and the Ministry of Transport are jointly handling the compensation, acquiring the land at 1.5 million shillings per acre. Now, in less than 24 hours, more than 450,000 candidates who sat last year's Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education will receive their results as recommended by the Kilemi Mwiria Task Force. The Kenya National Examination Council will not rank schools or candidates. This time around, NEC will also release results for early childhood development examinations as well as business examinations from various colleges. Now, we're joined now live by reporter Victor Ogale from Kisumu County with just an update and a feel of what's going on there ahead of the release of these results. Victor, good afternoon and thanks for talking to us. Samaseno top in Kisumu County last year, fifth around the country. What's the mood like now ahead of tomorrow's release of the results?
Well, thank you very much, Sophia Wanuna from Mombasa Road Center. Indeed, the mood here in Kisumu County and the entire Nyanza in general is that of anxiety, despite the fact that Education Cabinet Secretary Jacob Kaimenyi will not announce the school's ranking, though people are eager to know which schools fared on well. As you can remember, Maseno School was number 5 nationally and topped the county. The other school which also did well from this region, though in Kakamega County, we had also Chavakali High School. We had St. Peter's also in St. Francis, from Siaya.
All right, Victor, before I let you go, one of the issues always as these results are being released is the question of transition, on whether all of these candidates in their thousands will be absorbed into the next level. That's about university education. Are you getting such concerns in Kisumu County?
Yeah, true. There is an outcry not only in Kisumu, even in other parts of the country. Though some of the leaders we spoke to, some of the stakeholders in the education industry have decided that they are going to put such issues into check and make sure that no eventualities, no calamities may come up.
All right, well, Victor, thank you. It's a wait and see, some tense moments for those candidates as they await the results tomorrow. Be sure to catch all the updates right here on KTN Kenya.tv. In other news, Deputy President William Ruto has issued a stern warning that the government will take action against teachers and schools who withhold certificates for students with fees arrears. Ruto instructed teachers to ensure that all Class 8 and Form 4 graduates with school fees balances are issued with their documents to enable them pursue further opportunities. Now, speaking during a fundraiser for the interdenominational churches held at Asenas High School in Burnt Forest, the Deputy President regretted that some institutions have denied candidates documents, thus rendering their coursework irrelevant.
We are going to take action against any teacher or any school that will hold certificates for Standard 8 and Form 4 children, because it is the right of every child to be given their certificate so that they can move on with their lives.
3 workers of Tillin supermarket in Eldoret escaped to death by a whisker after administration police on patrol opened fire on them, suspecting an ongoing robbery. But as Wilson Borough now reports, the supermarket owner says the 3 were just renovating the premises.
It was a bizarre case of mistaken identity as administration police on patrol opened fire on this supermarket after hearing noises coming from the inside. The 3 were in a group that had reportedly been contracted to do renovations at the premises around midnight, 4 hours after the supermarket had wound up their normal operating hours at 8 p.m. Sunday. According to the supermarket director, who is the former 3,000-meter steeplechase world champion Moses Kiptanui, his workers were changing the supermarket floor tiles at that time.
Askari wa AP wakaja na wakapiga tu risasi bila kuuliza ni nini kinaendelea hapa ndani. Wakati huo wakaumiza watu watatu.
AP Commandant Augustus Mutie refuted the claims, saying the officers did the right thing at the right time because the management had not informed them of the ongoing renovations. Mutie added that officers acted after the watchman manning the place tipped them off.
I don't know whether even the works people have permitted people to work during night, and if there is, then they should inform other stakeholders.
Kiini mbona wapike risasi hatujajua mpaka sasa, lakini tunangoja kwamba investigation itaendelea alafu tujue ni nini kilitokea.
The three escaped with gunshot wounds and rushed to hospital where they were treated and discharged. Wilson Buru for KTN Online.
Former Namibian President Hifikepunye Pohamba is the winner of the 2014 prestigious Mohammed Ibrahim Foundation Prize worth 450 million shillings. Among other contenders for the prize included former President Mwai Kibaki. The founder of the award, Dr. Mohammed Ibrahim, met President Uhuru Kenyatta on Sunday evening to discuss leadership and governance issues in the region. The Mo Ibrahim Foundation was established in 2006 and aims to promote Africa's leadership transformation. Ibrahim was accompanied by the foundation's board and members of the prize committee.
We'll ask you working with us on the
In business, cement maker East African Portland has recorded a net loss of 124 million shillings in 2014 half-year earnings, marking a U-turn from 2013's pre-tax profit of 171 million shillings. The company attributes the loss to a decline in major components such as sales volumes, which dropped by 7% due to maintenance shutdown of its packaging and clinker production lines in the second quarter of the year. Sales revenues also dropped by 8% to 4.1 billion shillings due to a 5% price reduction driven by market forces. The cost of sales went up by 8% to 3.5 billion shillings, driven by cost of clinker purchased during the maintenance shutdown period. The company also says that profits were further hurt by increased price competition as industry capacity continues to exceed demand in the market. Portland Cement expects to bounce back to profitability following refurbishment of its plant in the second quarter of last year. The company is also banking on installation of a new cement packing line, which will be commissioned in the second half of this year, aimed at bolstering capacity utilization through increased clinker and cement production as well as dispatch. Now, tea production in the country is on the rise. A factor that might lead to lower prices are the auction. According to the Kenya Tea Development Authority, tea production was up 8.7% in the 6-month period between July and December last year. In the 6 months, smallholder green leaf production stood at 569.7 million kilograms compared to 524 million a year earlier. Now, in the first half, tea factories processed some 128.07 million kilograms of made tea, up from 118.1 million kilograms processed in the same period last year. The agency is hoping a dry spell between January and the end of March will lower production, leading to better prices for tea. A kilo of processed tea during the last 6 months traded at an average price of $2.23 to $2.42 during the same period in 2013, a decline of 8%. Overproduction of tea has been attributed to the sector's woes over the last 2 years. Tea farmers' earnings dropped to 15.8 billion shillings in bonus payment last year, which was the lowest in the past 5 years. Let's now talk sports. And Jose Mourinho claimed his first trophy since returning for his second spell as Chelsea manager with a comfortable Capital One Cup final victory over Tottenham at Wembley. John Terry and Diego Costa scored the 2 goals against Tottenham Hotspurs, who were out to make a repeat of their success over Chelsea in this competition 7 years ago. The win gave Mourinho his first silverware since La Liga success with Real Madrid in 2012 and Chelsea their first since the Europa League final victory against Benfica in Amsterdam a year later. Now, despite a career laden with trophies, Mourinho claimed this was the most important final of his time in the game. The ITF Wheelchair World Team Cup African qualifiers came to an end on Sunday at the Nairobi club as South African players reigned supreme. Els Leon beat Morocco's Etali Ayoub in the men's singles finals category, while Venter Mariska beat El Huri Azur in the women's singles finals.
With all eyes set on the World Team Cup wheelchair tennis finals in Turkey later in the year, South Africa's world number 9 Venter Mariska took on Morocco's El Huri Azur in the African qualifier women finals here in Nairobi. The first set seemed even from the start before Venter pulled through to win the set 7-5. In the second set, the South African proved too strong for the Moroccan to handle as she won the set 6-2 to be crowned singles champion. In the men's singles, it was again South Africa taking on Morocco. Els Leon from South Africa ruled the first set as he faced Etali Ayoub, winning the set 6-0. Leon had an easy time in the second set as he won 6-1 to take the honours. The South African is now looking forward to the challenge of excelling in the World Team Cup in Turkey.
The World Team Cup is also always very tough, but it's enjoyable. Competitiveness, to compete there, you know, that's what we do. That's what we live for.
Despite Kenyan players missing out in the finals, Kenyan officials are optimistic that Kenyan players can produce better results in the future.
So arrangement to get more than one event at least to start with, that is of a ranking level, so that the players can be exposed.
In other matches of the day, Kenya's Taken Timon beat Ghana's Antumanui Isaac to take the 3rd place, while Bernard Namasapani from Tanzania beat Arimon Mario to take 5th place.
And that's all for the news at this hour. Thank you very much for watching. Do stay with KTN Kenya.tv for all your news updates. And in the meantime, of course, you can always follow us on our social media platforms, on Twitter, Facebook as well, like our page KTN Kenya. You'll get all the stories as they happen. Up to the minute updates right there for you. I'm Sophia Wanuna. Good afternoon.